What is the purpose of 5150 and what is it like? If you're new to my channel, my name is Eric. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a counselor, I'm none of that. Hit the like and subscribe button because it's all about mental health, mental illness, suicide awareness, sobriety, making sure that nobody goes it alone. I'm diagnosed with ADHD, PTSD, GAD, and MDD. I'm a recovering cocaine and alcoholic addict, and I lost a wife and a father to suicide. I've struggled with self-harm, I've struggled with suicide myself, and it makes a difference to let that nobody goes it alone. I get asked a lot about 5150 and what is it exactly like? And I can tell you what it's like. I've never been personally 5150'd or Baker acted as it's also known. I know a lot of people that have, and I can even share on those experiences because I've had to visit a few of them and to bring them home. 5150 is essentially why it was designed and what it was designed for is that you could be legally detained for up to 7 days, it's typically 3 days, to be diagnosed or to be treated for whatever it is that you are essentially going through or to get you at least on the right path for help. Unfortunately, typically it doesn't work out that way. To give you an idea, when you are 5150 or Baker acted, yes, you are detained. You are detained like you are a prisoner in a sense, and you're probably gonna fight it. And you're gonna end up going there and it's going to be a little difficult. Yes, you are going to a mental hospital. You are going to a psych ward. You are going to be placed in there. You are going to be pretty much removing everything off of you. There is no sharp objects. There is nothing of that sort because they don't want you to take your life. Okay, you got to remember that. It's essentially for your own protection. It's not because, oh, hey, we have 5150U and we are taking you in and this is your punishment. It's not actually designed for punishment. It's designed, okay, we remove all the threats from the individual, the phones, the bras, anything that could be shoestrings, anything that could be used to commit suicide. Then what ends up happening is you are evaluated by a doctor. You do go through an evaluation process. Typically what ends up happening is you're going to go through one evaluation process. You're probably not going to talk to any other kind of doctors. You may have groups depending on what kind of psych ward it is. Average is going to be, you're going to see one doctor when you enter, you're going to see one doctor when you exit. The one thing that I always hope when people do get 5150, because I don't think it's a bad thing. I think for a lot of people, it can be a wake-up call and literally save their life, is you're not being punished by having your phone taken away. You're not being punished by having all this stuff removed. And yes, you're in a cold room and you're limited by the sheets that you can have. And you feel that you are in prison. But I always hope that it's a wake-up call for somebody that is struggling, that's going, you know what, I need to get help because I don't want to repeat this. The thing with a psych ward is that you think that you might go in there. It's not going to necessarily be for a massive amount of therapy. It typically isn't at all. It's going to be more that you're going to be checked on. You're going to be pretty much in surveillance 24/7, even while you're sleeping, to make sure that you're not hurting yourself and to get you mentally stable. That is the whole purpose behind it. So it's not meant to be a kind of punishment for somebody. It's to protect them from themselves. A lot of times loved ones will 5150 somebody else, take them to the psych ward. And if you do, my suggestion is this, that you remind them that you love them. I mean, that's the biggest thing is when somebody does 5150 somebody or you do get somebody detained to go to a psych ward, you got to let them know massively that you love them, that this is for them, that you're not disappointed in them, that you want them to be okay. And let's start getting the help that we need. It's almost that starting gate, and you're given the opportunity now to go one or two directions to actually start really getting the help that you need, or to make it a continual cycle where you actually do more damage to the individual by making them feel that they're a burden. Now, I've been to a psych ward now, 5 times or 6 times. That's the worst thing. It shouldn't be this reoccurring thing that the psych ward is the place to go. It should be that this is the direction of therapy and help that we need. What are you struggling with? If you do it out of a position of love, you can accomplish many things. You can help the person overcome. A lot of times, family members will freak out to a big extent if somebody is self-harmed and, oh my God, you self-harmed, and the parents will take it on to themselves or the loved one takes it on as themselves that you're doing this against me and it's I failed you. No, that's not what mental illness is. I mean, if you do date or you are with somebody or you have a child that has a mental illness, you got to understand what they're going through, what the battles are that they're going through. And if it ever gets to that point where they are starting to hurt themselves and you end up 5150ing them, let them, this is out of love. When they get open embraces, let them know, let's get the help that you want. I've found some therapists. Let's do this together. I love you. That reinforcement of love does so much more than, Well, I hope that you got fixed. No, if you 5150 somebody and you think that 3 days, 7 days is going to fix them, you're lying to yourself. You're hurting them, and you're not getting them the true help that they need. You have to go through the journey with them and want to go through the journey with them. And you can truly help somebody change their lives. And I struggle with GAD and MDD. I mean, those are two massive diagnoses, and yet, you know what? I think I'm a pretty amazing person, and everybody who's met me thinks the same. And I'm not really super cocky when it comes to that. But if it's handled the wrong way, I can become very self-defeating. I feel that I'm a burden. And you know what? The next time that I end up getting help will probably be 5150 again, because I'm not going to start to speak up when I start to struggle. It's all about communication. It's all about boundaries, and it's all about sharing. You know, another thing that a lot of times people are afraid of when it comes to 5150 or Baker Acted, depending on where you live, is what it's called, because it is being legally detained to get the treatment and help that you need, is that, well, I can't open up with my therapist because they're going to 5150 me. They're going to send me to the psych ward. Then in most cases, that is not true. And I want to break that wall down right now, because when you, again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a therapist, any of that. I have talked to plenty of therapists, though, about it, that it's not a therapist's goal as soon as you come in to say, oh, I'm going to send you to the psych ward. No. And believe me, on the doctor side of it, they don't want to have to do all the additional paperwork. Believe me, they want to help you. If you go in and you even tell your therapist, because I have done this before, that I feel suicidal, guess what? I have never, ever been 5150'd. And I've told my therapist a few different times that I've been suicidal. Never been 5150'd. The only time that you are 5150 is if you truly present a threat to yourself or somebody else. That is the only time that you are going to have that happen to you. So going into your therapist and saying, hey, I feel suicidal and here's why, allows actually for that communication to open up. So the more open that you are with the therapist, the more that you let them know what you're struggling with, the more that you're going to get the help that you're needed. If you let this idea that I'm going to be sent to a psych ward rent a lot of space in your brain, you're not going to be as open with your therapist as you need to be. You're not going to get the needed help that you need to be. And you're going to end up having a very bad experience. It can be a traumatic experience. It can cause you not to trust people even more. And that's not the purpose of it. And I wish that I could walk everybody through the experience of being 5150'd, because it's not a bad thing. Use it as that wake-up call of going, okay, I really am struggling and I do need help. How do I ask for help? That's the whole purpose behind it. And I may even get some hate for this video that you don't understand, because unfortunately 5150 is abused to a certain extent with foster families. When it comes to foster kids, that maybe they're just too much, they're going to send them to the psych ward. I mean, there are instances where 5150 is used as a weapon, but that's not what it was designed to do. And if you are in it, just use it as that wake-up call. Use it as that experience of going, you know what, I really need to seek help. I need to seek treatment. And if you have somebody in your life, even if they're not direct contact with you in the sense of a sister or a brother or a son, but say they're a cousin, or you have a friend that's been 5150, man, as soon as they get out, you want to make the biggest difference. Dude, I loved you. You matter. Let's do this together. What are you struggling with? Open up to me and listen to listen. Don't listen to respond, because you're not a therapist. But get them to start talking. Go through the journey with them. You'll feel amazing when you do. And you know what? It makes a huge difference in somebody's life. It impacts somebody's life. I mean, I hope that this helps somebody a little bit about what happens when you're 5150 and what it's about, because so many times it's looked at as a very, very negative thing. And if you always look at everything as a negative, that's all it's going to draw upon you. Look at it as an opportunity sometimes. And you know what? You're given a choice if you do 5150 somebody to help them with their life or not. Remember that. You know, if you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, hit the like and subscribe button. I'd love to hear your comment down below. Hit the description box. In the description box, I have links to all my different social medias. I have links to the mental health Discord communities. I even have links down below to things on Amazon like fidget cubes and fidget spinners, things that I use when I'm struggling, just to pretty much make it through every single day. I even have a link down below to BetterHelp. I mean, it's trial and error to find out what works for you, and try online therapy if you've never had therapy before. Just try, because what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. Have a link down below even to Renewal Recovery, which is a mental health rehab that does inpatient. And you know what? If you need to get the help, it's about taking care of this and about knowing that you're worth it. So comment down below, hit the like and subscribe button. Remember this, that you're a BAMF. You're a badass motherfucker. And you made it through 100% of your worst days to make it through to today. And together we got this.